Shizuka Pote, and we're back for part 2 of the how to play Yu-Gi-Oh videos. So, in this part, I'm going to focus mainly on the battle phase. I won't be able to show everything I would like to in a sort of visual sense, but I'm going to go over everything, in well, as best as I can. For this, I'm going to get to the battle phase first off. To start off, we're going to go over the steps of the battle phase. Now, this is sort of a more, like, advanced thing, but I want you guys to be like, you know what you're doing when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You not just go willy-nilly. So, this is going to be one of the more, intricate things that we go over in these beginner videos, but it's something that I think is really important and that you need to know, especially if you want to play the game right, and if you go into like a locals or something, you don't get blown out of the water by all the people who know everything, right? Let's go with the start step of the battle phase. Now, I was going to show you this because here I'm going to put it to on and go into the battle phase. Now, first we have the start step of the battle phase. Now, here just means when you switch into the battle phase, you have an opportunity to activate cards and effects that can be activated in the battle phase. This is quick plays and quick effects, and quick monster effects. Now here I have two of those. Like I said in the past video, I have priority to activate monster or cards when a phase starts. So here it's telling me I have priority to activate a monster or a card and move on to the next step of the battle phase. Then, here, we're just in neutral. Nothing is happening in the battle phase because no one is attacking. Then, we have the attacking step. First, we have the declare, that is when you can declare the attack. Then, we have the declaration of battle. That means you're saying, hey, I'm going to attack this monster with this. This is another point where you can activate monster or card effects, whether just if they're quick or whatever. Then, the battle step. This is when the monsters are doing battle. You don't really need to know the difference. You just need to know that it's there. Then, we have the damage step. The damage step is where you're calculating the damage. What we just saw is two steps. The damage step and the damage calculation. So, the damage step is basically when the computer, or when you guys calculate, like, oh, this is how much damage I take because this is the difference in attack values. And then, the damage calculation is at the end of that. Now, why do we have to have these phases? It's because certain cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Change the attack and defense of your monsters. And these cards, along with cards that negate activations of cards, can be activated in the damage step and in damage calculation, but that is all that can be activated in those. So cards, like you saw, I can activate the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and I couldn't activate Match Change. It didn't give me a prompt, because these two do not change the attack values of monsters, and they do not negate activations of effects. Now, also, there are different effects that just activate during the damage step because it says so on the card, and that's a different thing. And then there is the end step of the battle phase. Now, this is where we change into main phase 2, or another phase, and we just go into whatever. Then, now I'm going to sort of explain what happens during battle if you have different attack. What we have is, when you have an attack position monster versus an attack position monster, like we saw earlier with the little slime thing, the monster that has higher attack destroys the other monster, and then the player had the monster with less attack gets damage taken. Then that's different if you have an attack versus a defense position monster. So here we have an attack position monster with a whole bunch of attack, and a defense position monster, which I'm pretty sure is going to get destroyed by this, because if it doesn't, I would be surprised. So here is what happens when you attack a monster with less attack and when you have higher defense. So the player with less defense gets destroyed, and the player with more attack, when it's in an attack position, destroys the monster. And the player with the lower defense position monster doesn't take any damage. Now, what happens when it is a direct attack? Okay, so what happens when it's a direct attack? Basically, you just deal the damage of the attacking monster to your opponent. And that's going to be it for the battle phase, but now I'm going to go into every single phase. So first, we have the draw phase. The draw phase, it's where the turn player, so the player whose turn it is, draws a card. As you saw, I drew Vision Hero Ferris. Now, one thing that you're seeing as I go on through the phases, one, we went through the standby phase. Just nothing happened during the standby phase. I had the prompt to activate some effects, and I'm going to explain why just after I explain this. But the standby phase is basically where if you have effects on the field, if you have effects in your hand like quick effects or monster effects that are quick effects, you can activate them, and it's basically everything. The player with priority does it, and then the other player. And if nothing happens, or if no one has any effects they want to activate, you just move on to the main phase. Now, why do I get prompts at like different parts? I have multiple prompts at different parts of the phases, and that's because just like the battle phase, there are different parts, different phases. There's the start step of a phase, the end step of a phase, and the sort of open state of a phase. At the start step of phase is a chance where priority passes. So at the start step of a phase is where the turn player can activate an effect. Then if they don't want to, the opponent player. Then during open game state, it's the same thing happens. And during the end part of a phase, the same thing happens. Now this is applied to every single phase. That means the draw, standby, main, battle, and main phase 2, as well as the end phase. But certain phases have different properties as others. The main phase is where the brunt of the turn happens. So it's where you can normal summon a monster like this. It's where you can play or set spell and trap cards like this. Now we can activate the spell card because we didn't meet the conditions. But that's if we did, then we could activate that card. It's where you can special summon all your monsters. It's where you can do everything. It's where you can summon from the extra deck. It's where you can do everything. Like, summon like from the extra deck, say something like this. See, we summoned a Link monster. And that you can only do during main phase 1 and main phase 2. Now, at every point where you do something like this, where you summon a monster, where you activate a spell or trap, activate an effect, your opponent has the opportunity to respond to your action. So that means that when you activate the effect, you activate the card, you summon the monster, then your priority passes to your opponent. So usually it just means that you're passing priority to your opponent. That was just something that I wanted to do to show you guys what I was trying to say with that. Then during the battle phase, then we have the main phase 2. The main phase 2 is where you can it's basically the main phase. Main phase 1 except after the battle phase. So you do everything you want to do to prepare for battle before in main phase 1, and everything you want to do to sort of recover or set up for next turn or your opponent's turn in main phase 2. And then we have the end phase. You can only activate quick effects and certain trap card effects. So another thing about the Yu-Gi-Oh turn structure is that you cannot go backwards. So as you've been seeing throughout this this game that I've been playing, I've only been going forward in the phases, right? If I go to change a phase here, if I go to battle, all the other ones beforehand are blanked out because you can't go back in a phase. Anyway, now let's get on to the battle. Okay guys, so that's going to be it for my explanation about turn structure as well as the battle phase. Hopefully you guys are enjoying, or maybe not enjoying, but learning a little bit about how to play this game I love so much, and maybe questioning as to why I love this game so much. Who knows? But for now, we're done with this part. The next part is going to be summoning, spell cards, trap cards, and monster cards. Just what the structure of the cards and how to play them. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.